Hello and welcome back to Tutoring with Gavin. In this series of video tutorials, I've been showing you how to get a great grade in the English language exam. All of the exam boards have a section that tests your creative narrative writing skills. In this video, I will take you through the 6 different types of endings you could use for your narrative story. Be sure to choose the best ending by planning carefully. You can check out how to do this by watching my video on planning and structure. This will help you get a grade 9 in the exam. Remember this when deciding your ending. What effect do you want to have on your reader? Shock, relief, ambiguity, satisfaction, intrigue, or joy? Once you've decided, consider which of these best serves your story. First of all, the explicit ending, also called the denouement. This is where the various strands of the story are explained or resolved. This could be a happy ending where the protagonist solves a problem or overcomes a challenge. Polly finds her long-lost sister. It could also be an unhappy ending whereby they fail in their objective. Polly discovers that her long-lost sister died years earlier. A more complex ending would be where the protagonist fails in their objective but gains something valuable in the process. Polly never finds her sister but learns that her best friend is like a sister to her. Alternatively, they could achieve their objective but lose something unexpectedly in the process. Polly finds her sister but loses her best friend in the process. The second type of ending is the implicit or the open ending. These are very popular with short stories, as the ambiguity suits the fact that the reader is yet to really get to know your characters, but would like to know more about them. For example, Polly has discovered the whereabouts of her missing sister and they have an emotional reunion. But during the meeting, it becomes evident that her sister does not want to return to her old life. Will Polly stay with her or return to her previous life? Number 3, the twist or unexpected ending. These are good fun if you have set the story up using red herrings in a way to make the reader think the story will end in a certain way, only to surprise them with something they hadn't considered. You should only do this if your twist is believable. Otherwise, the reader will feel cheated. For example, Polly has been trying to prove that her next-door neighbour killed her sister, and all along it suggests he did. But at the end, we find out that Polly's boyfriend did it. Who'd have thought? Number 4, the tie-back ending is when everything ties back to the beginning. This is popular for mystery or thriller narratives that start with a strange occurrence which is now being resolved at the end. For example, at the start of the story, Polly is lying unconscious in an abandoned warehouse. We have a flashback that shows how she got there, which comes full circle to show the opening of the narrative again, but this time the story is resolved when she is rescued by her dog Clementine. This would be difficult to write in the short time you have in the exam, but if you can manage it, you would be rewarded for the clever structure. Number 5, the long view ending. This is popular in romance stories. I think this can be a clumsy way to end your story, as it feels like you are telling them all of the facts that you missed out in the story or didn't get time to mention. For example, Polly hugged Clementine, no longer able to hold back the tears. The next time she would cry like this would be over Clementine's grave in 2 years, when illness would take her tragically from this world. By then, Polly would be married and pregnant, and memories of that awful experience in the warehouse, now just a distant memory. Don't be tempted to tie your story together like this. It stinks. The last type of story ending is the cliffhanger, which wraps up some aspects of the narrative but leaves certain things unresolved. It has the effect of the reader wanting to know what will happen next, and is popular with books that form a series. For example, Polly woke to find herself unable to move. The sun was fading quickly. She lifted her head and heard footsteps growing closer. As the last ray of light vanished, the footsteps stopped outside the door. The door handle turned slowly. Darkness. I wouldn't recommend using this for your short story. If you are preparing or practicing some narrative stories in advance of the exam, which I highly recommend, then you should use this opportunity to try out different endings for your story. Let your teacher or tutor read the story with different endings and ask for feedback on which one works best. This is great experience and will give you a better sense of what works for your genre, tone and style of story. Leave a comment below on which ending you prefer to use, and please subscribe to the channel. Take a look at my Facebook page for more free resources that will help in your revision. Until next time.